Hi there. Welcome to uARFIDwhatueat, a channel where we deal with the issues that people with avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, or ARFID for short, deal with on a daily basis. Today we're going to be doing the first of what I'm going to be calling the Safe Food series, where I'm going to try and discuss foods that I do eat versus foods that I don't. Things that I've been eating my entire life, things that I trust, things that I know are dependable for me, and I know they're going to taste good, and I know they're going to be predictable, reliable. They're usually easy to get. So in this case, for today's safe food, we're going to be talking about one of my most dependable safe foods that I eat almost every day. And that is just plain old pasta. The pasta, we got a bowl of pasta. I will generally eat any kind of just plain pasta, the plain old pasta. I don't tend to like whole wheat pastas or anything like that. My preference for type of pasta tends to be penne. Certain pastas like spaghettis, I don't like as much. You just keep spinning it and spinning it and it won't come off sometimes. And then you might get more bite than you want. I often tend to prefer small, isolated kind of bites of things where I'm not getting too much of anything. That way if the flavor's too much, I have a chance to kind of evade it. The longer I have to chew something, generally speaking, the less I'm gonna like it. It's almost like it has more time to just sit around in my mouth and kind of make itself at home. The flavors begin to really set in, and too much flavor of any kind tends to just be off-putting for me. Again, that's part of why I like just the plain old white pastas like this, because there's not a ton of flavor to it, honestly. It's pretty straightforward. I tend to prefer it al dente. Not too much crunch, but just enough bite. If it starts getting mushy, I find it pretty gross, because the mushier something gets, generally, the wetter it begins to taste, and I hate wetness in almost any food I eat. No surprises, nothing hidden in there. It is exactly what it is. It's uniform right through. I'm not gonna suddenly take a bite of this and be shocked by a surprise grain or a surprise flavor involved in that. It's just plain old pasta, predictable. People with ARFID often will try to eat one or two, maybe three flavors at a time. When I eat my pasta, I pretty much just eat it plain. I'm about to boil this as well. I don't mean just straight up just eating this. But what I mean by that is that once this is done, I'm just gonna put a bit of salt on it and a bit of cheddar cheese, and I'm done. Like, that's it. Like, I have no intention of adding anything else to this. I don't really add tomato sauce to my pasta usually, and if I do, I want it on the side. That way it doesn't overwhelm the pasta and just become too much. Once you start adding sauces, the pasta is really just a base for the sauce. And I'm not trying to eat the sauce, I'm trying to eat the pasta. That's the flavor I want. The sauce is generally too much for me. I can like them, and again, like I said, I like to have them on the sides sometimes, which can be strange at restaurants. When I ask for that, I usually get a look. But that way I can just take this and dip it in. Just get a little touch of the flavor, not too much. That way I get full control over it. If you just start smothering this in tomato sauce, there's nowhere for me to go. I can't escape that sauce. The whole meal can become ruined at that point if I have nowhere to run. Also too, at that point, like, it becomes intimidating. The more things you begin adding to my meal, the more intimidated I get, because it means there's going to be things in there I might not be ready to see. Things like tomato sauce, they will frequently have these little sticks and like little pepper seeds and things like that, which some people would say is the whole point. That's the flavor. That's where you get to enjoy it. But for someone like myself, if I'm eating that and I just get this little red stick thing and I can taste it and feel it and get that texture in my mouth, I feel like spitting the whole bite out. It's disgusting to me. All right, all that said, I'm going to boil up this pasta, and then we're gonna get ourselves a bowl of pasta here, and I'm just gonna eat it, actually. This is gonna be my lunch today. That's it. Okay, so I just boiled this for 12 minutes. That's the preference for me. I do lots of this so it dries out as much as possible. Again, I do not like wetness in my food. So. Okay, now I have prepared pasta. Again, I do this for 12 minutes. The box says 10 minutes, and I do like my food al dente, but I find that's actually just a little too al dente, almost crunchy. Very exciting. As you can see, cooking it didn't change it at all. It's basically identical to how it was. That's how I like it. I want it to look exactly the same every time. Every day I make this, it should turn out the same every time. I don't want surprises. I don't want it to be different. Okay, so now this is done, let's talk about this. The texture, nice and firm, but still with a lot of give. The smell, it basically doesn't really have a smell, to be honest, which I'm not going to complain about. I'd prefer no smell to a bad smell. Taste of just the plain pasta as is. There's not much to it. It's pretty simple, goes down easily, and frankly for most of my foods that's usually what I'm asking, is just to go down easy and not be troublesome. I can eat it quick, doesn't hang around the mouth for long. With that said, now that I've got my little bowl of plain old penne pasta here, here's how I do it, my ARFID edition if you will. I just throw a little bit of salt on that, not much at all. That might have even been too much. Now, what I have here is another old faithful, plain old cheddar cheese, old cheddar cheese that I shredded up yesterday. Oh, now that has a smell, and this has a taste. This is gonna do a lot of the work for me here. In spite of what you might think, I'm not just gonna dump this whole bowl in here and just mix it all up. I'm actually just kind of gonna put little bits on the top, like this. It's little sprinkles. And the reason I'm doing this is because I actually don't want this to melt too much. If this gets mixed into too much of the warm pasta, it's gonna start melting. And I find I don't like cheese once the texture gets too melty. I like it when it's fresh and it's still even a little bit cold. And I don't know, I just personally, that's how I like it. I say I just got a piece here. I'll just make my own little meal in my mouth. Like, I'll just grab a bit of cheese, take that, put the cheese in, and that's good. And that's good every time. Part of why I like old cheddar cheese too. Predictable, same color straight through, same taste, same texture, nothing changes. I tend to like it shredded really thin. Tastes great. I think earlier in this video I was just talking about how I don't like pasta being essentially used as just a base for things like tomato sauce and stuff, because there's too much going on. But if it's something straight up simple, like this cheese is, for example, that's just enough actually. That's great. Taking another bite. Sorry. I'm dropping stuff. Oh, that's so good. So yeah, one of my safe foods here. Plain old penne pasta with some salt and a bit of cheddar cheese on top. This is easy to make, it's cheap. I can do this every day without costing barely anything. You can just buy shredded cheese too if you really want, but I find shredding it myself tends to taste just a little bit better. But most places I go to that sell some sort of pasta, they will allow me to make a version of this at the restaurant. They'll just give me some plain pasta usually. And sometimes they'll let me get a little thing of tomato sauce on the side. I'll just dip this plain old pasta with a little cheese on it, dip that in there, and delicious, as long as the tomato sauce is. Well, that said, this is my safe food. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. Tell me what your safe foods are in the comments. Maybe tell me how you make your pasta, if you eat pasta as a safe food. And yeah, thank you for joining me today. This is uARFID What You Eat. My name is Chris. You guys don't mind. Hope you have a wonderful day, but I'm actually just gonna go ahead and eat this for my lunch right now, so. Bye-bye.